The midday sun beat down on Andy, a tiny brown and white puppy, as he lay whimpering on the dusty sidewalk. His pathetic whimpers were lost in the cacophony of the city, swallowed by the honking of cars and the chatter of passers-by. No one seemed to notice him, his tiny body chained to a rusted metal pipe, pulling him to the ground. The chains were heavy, the sun unforgiving, and the air thick with the smell of exhaust and sweat. Peta, a young girl with bright, curious eyes, was walking home from school. She had her headphones on, lost in the rhythm of her favorite song, when a soft, desperate whine pierced through the music. She stopped, her gaze drawn to the pitiful figure huddled on the ground. "Oh, my God," she whispered, her heart clenching. It was a puppy, small and skinny, with a matted coat and scabs covering its tiny body. The sight of the animal, clearly in pain and distress, sparked a fire in Peta's soul. She couldn't ignore it. She pulled out her phone, her fingers trembling as she dialed the emergency number for animal control. But as she listened to the automated message, the image of the puppy, whimpering in the heat, became unbearable. This wasn't a situation for bureaucratic procedures. She had to act now. Peta walked slowly towards the puppy, her steps hesitant. As she got closer, she saw the chains, the heavy metal biting into its fragile skin. The puppy whimpered again, its tail tucked between its legs, and its eyes, filled with fear and despair, met Peta's. She knelt down, her hand reaching out to stroke its head, her voice soft and soothing. "It's okay, little one," she whispered, her voice trembling with concern. "I'm here to help." She looked around, searching for the owner. There was no one in sight. She tried to call again, hoping to find someone who could help, but there was no response. The phone slipped from her grasp as a wave of helplessness washed over her. She had to do something. She had to get the puppy out of the sun, out of the chains. But how? She was just a girl, alone, and the chains were strong. Then, a woman emerged from a nearby store, a shopping bag in her hand. She was looking at Peta with a curious expression. Seeing her distress, Peta pointed at the puppy. "This poor thing," she cried, tears welling up in her eyes. "It's chained up, no water, no food, and it's sick." The woman, her face softened with sympathy, approached the puppy. She looked at it, her eyebrows furrowed, and then turned her attention to the chains. She saw the rusty metal digging into the puppy's flesh, the scabs and the fear in its eyes. "I know what to do," she said, a determined glint in her eyes. "I have some heavy-duty cutters in my van. Come with me." The woman led Peta to her van parked across the street. Peta, still reeling from the sight of the tortured puppy, followed her. Inside the van, the woman pulled out a pair of heavy cutters from a toolbox. "Let's get this poor thing free," she said, her voice firm and resolute. With a determined tug, she cut the chains. Peta watched, her heart pounding, as the puppy, now free, looked up at them, its eyes wide with relief. The woman carefully lifted the shivering puppy and held it in her arms, letting it snuggle into her embrace. "He's just a baby," she murmured, stroking its matted fur. "He's lucky you were here." She looked at Peta, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you for speaking up for this little one," she said, her voice warm and sincere. "You did the right thing." Peta's heart swelled with a sense of accomplishment. She knew she couldn't save him alone, but she was the one who had brought him to the attention of someone who could. And as she watched the woman, her new guardian, carrying the puppy away, she knew she had done the right thing.